What is going on, everybody? Welcome back into TTP Sports, and we're talking more Flyers puck, orange and the black, as, talking about these past two games against the Tampa Bay Lightning, and recently tonight against the Florida Panthers. The Flyers, they earned 3 of 4 points in these past two games in the state of Florida, and for the entirety of the road trip, they earned 3 of 6, where they probably deserved a better fate against the Carolina Hurricanes after that very late goal by Nietzsche's to give Carolina that last second win. But I guess you can say the overall product of the Flyers, they definitely deserved a better fate in Carolina. But then they go to Tampa Bay and Florida, and they go to a shootout back to back, and they earned 3 of 4 points, getting the 2 points in Tampa Bay, winning in the shootouts, and then falling in the shootout tonight against the Florida Panthers. And even though I feel like that should be talking about positively when the Flyers probably played some of their best hockey of the year these past 3 games, where they look like they're trying to find some game of consistency, some groove of offense, just groove of structure, defensive structure, goaltending structure, offensive structure, just whatever kind of structure you can call it. And really, there should be some sense of positivity from this because Owen Tippett looks like he's finding form. He scored a late goal against the Tampa Bay Lightning, and he scored the shootout winner. He was close multiple times against the Florida Panthers from scoring a goal. I believe he also scored in the game against Carolina, so he looks like he is going on a hot streak, and something that the Flyers desperately need on the scoring sheet is Owen Tippett putting the puck into the net, and that is very huge for this team. That's something that's really good. The penalty kill still playing very well. Ivan Fedotov had a very solid game against the Tampa Bay Lightning, best he's basically looked in his NHL career. He earns his first NHL win, and that comes in the shootout after, even though one of the goals that he let up, he bit way too hard on Nikita Kucherov, and Kucherov just had an easy wrap around the empty netter, basically, in that first period against the Tampa Bay Lightning on Thursday. But besides that, Fedotov was the main reason why the Flyers were even involved in that game against Tampa Bay. They score the late goal, they force overtime, go to a shootout, and they win that with Konechny scoring a shootout goal and Tippett scoring a shootout goal, and Fedotov shutting the Tampa out in the shootouts. And then you get today, basically bit of a back and forth battle. There definitely was a lot of things going on there. Flyers get the first goal after, a weird play where Scott Laughton takes a shot. It takes a weird bounce off the glass. It bounces right next to the Bobrovsky, and, Brink Laughton, they set up Joe Farabee, who's pushing right into the front of the net as he buries one to put the Flyers up early in the game against Florida. Florida eventually ties the game. Point shot. Not sure if Ersson was screened on that. This is in the second period. On a shot from Nate Schmidt ties the game up. And then, a defensive breakdown, breakdown in the neutral zone. Flyers can't get the puck up and, goes back the other way. And Florida eventually scores on that. But then the Flyers try to review to see if the puck went out of play. And replaying, from the replays that I saw, really couldn't tell. But a lot of people, Flyers coverage and everything said that puck probably went out of play, but it's one of the situations where it just wasn't so clear. It wasn't concise. So the call had to stay as it was, and it was a goal. So Flyers kind of got robbed there, and then they allowed go to the penalty kill right after that for failing a challenge. Then they tie the game eventually on a delayed penalty. Anthony Richard, getting in the lineup for Matvei Michkov once again, and then we'll get there. He ties the game up at 2, and then not that long later, another breakdown, which turns it to a really sloppy play by the Panthers that they still find a way to score on. One guy couldn't settle the puck. He figured it out. Nick Seeler probably went way too aggressive, and then just a tic-tac-toe goal for Sam Bennett to give Florida a 3-2 lead. And then you get one of the weirdest goals I've ever seen in my life from freaking Garnett Hathaway, where he's trying to center it through the crease, and then I think it goes off of one of the Panthers players and through the 5-hole Bobrovsky, and the Flyers tie the game up that way. And then eventually you get to the overtime, which was insanely drunk. That overtime was on crack. That was probably one of the most entertaining Flyers overtimes I've seen in a long while. The Flyers had to have had at least 4, 5, 6 breakaways in that period. Bobrovsky standing tall, Sam Ersson standing tall, and the chances that Florida gets there. And it was just an insane, like, Konechny gets, like, a chance with, like, 5 seconds left, and he can't find a way to bury one. Sam had a chance. I think Farabee had a chance to open the period up. There was just so many. Brink had a chance breakaway-wise. The Flyers had so many chances in that overtime to bury one. It was just like, but it was an entertaining overtime nonetheless. Definitely was. And the shootout went the distance. Barkov scores, Tippett scores, and then Rodriguez scored the game winner, as no other Flyer could find a way to beat Bobrovsky there in the shootout. So it's like, if you failed that many breakaways against Bobrovsky in the overtime, you probably weren't scoring that much in a shootout against him on breakaways, solely breakaways. So you end up losing that game. You get a point. It was an earned point against the Florida Panthers, and in a 2-game set against Tampa Bay and the Florida Panthers, who are pretty good teams, you earned 3 of 4 points. And like I said, the road trip of entirety, you earned 3 of 6. And I guess that is something positive to look at. But once again, the glaring elephant in the room is back-to-back games now. Matvei Michkov gets healthy scratched, and I just fucking knew it was going to happen. As soon as they won the game against Tampa Bay, he was 100% getting scratched again by Torts. And the freaking kicker of this entire thing is that, Torts sends out Shaw, assistant coach, to tell the media that Michkov was benched again and tell the lineup decisions for tonight's game. It's just, Torts just doesn't want to fucking answer the questions about Michkov being benched again. The dude's hiding from the fucking media. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? Why are we going to this point where one game, okay, I can fucking get it. I'm going to be pissed off about that one game because there's no reason that he should be healthy scratched, because I don't agree with the sentiment that, because he is struggling 5-on-5, regardless of how bad the team is playing 5-on-5, let's single out Michkov and mistakes that he makes, and he's the one that has to go up into the press box to learn from above, because it's going to be, quote-unquote, good for him, and this is part of the process. I don't buy that bullshit. I think you learn plenty much playing on the ice than sitting up in the press box watching this garbage. Even though the play on the ice was better the past couple of games, still overall, your team's not good. Yeah, Michkov is having struggles 5-on-5. Yes, majority of his scoring is coming on the power play. You live with it. You live with it. How is he going to learn when he's sitting up in the press box? Don't you think it would be beneficial to him to be going up against the Tampa Bay Lightning, going up against, guys that he idolizes like Nikita Kucherov, and going up against the reigning Stanley Cup champion and the Florida Panthers and that very tough team, to learn some things in your game, to learn, how to do things the right way, and just learn by playing against, these dynamic teams, playing against Nikita Kucherov, playing against Alexander Barkov, Matt Tkachuk, Sam Reinhart, all that stuff? Wouldn't that be beneficial to a young player in playing against that type of competition and not sitting up in the rafters and watching from above and not having to compete in the action? I just don't find the logic in that. And of course, there's so many people in the hockey media that's like, oh, you don't understand because this, that, basically agreeing with the Torts decision to, because, putting someone up in the rafters and making someone watch from above is beneficial to a development process for a very young player in this league. I still don't buy that shit, because I've seen the Flyers do that many times over the course of my fandom, is putting, healthy, scratching young players. I never agreed with it. Just let the kids play. This is not a year where you're focusing on winning. This is a year where you're focusing on more development of young players, especially like a guy like Michkov. Why is he getting singled out when you're trying to develop this guy? Because he is going to be the best player in your franchise for years to come. He is going to be the face of your franchise for years to come. I don't think because, 5 years down the line, Michkov is going to always look back to, these 2 games that I got benched in Florida is why I shot off and skyrocketed into being one of the best players in the NHL. No. He's going to be one of the best players in the NHL because he is that goddamn talented. No 2 games sitting in the press box is going to change that. He's going to learn more by playing on the ice. And no, I don't expect Matvei Michkov to be benched 3 games in a row because, oh God, Torts will be preparing to burn down the Wells Fargo Center if that's the case. He'll be prepared for that arena to be burned down by the fan base. Because it was a stretch to bench him one game, completely asinine to bench him 2 games in a row. There was no course for that, even though I knew as soon as the Flyers won the first game against Tampa, he was going to get benched again because, got to roll with the winning lineup here. And he's going to come home. The Flyers play the lowly San Jose Sharks, who are one of the worst teams in the league, even though you're also one of the worst teams in the league. But still, wouldn't you think you learn more playing against Tampa and Florida than slotting back into a game against the San Jose Sharks? And now watch, Michkov is going to go off offensively for the next few games, and it's going to look like Torts was right about the entire thing. It's in the media, the freaking National Hockey League media is going to gloat about it, blah, 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 blah. See, Torts was right. No reason for you guys to be overly dramatic. No reason for you guys to go overly crazy here because Torts was right. No. No. You don't bench your best player and single him out for his mistakes when the rest of the team was playing just as poorly as him. There is no reason to do that. There are plenty of other players that you can single out. Morgan Frost stinks. Joel Farabee, he's had a couple of nice games in a row, but overall the full product of Joel Farabee, I expect way more of him, but I guess this is what we're getting. Tyson Forster, even though he was in the healthy scratch department at some point this year, he's still more worthy of it. Well, now Owen Tippett's on a heater, so I don't think he's going to get into the Torts doghouse, and he's more of one of the favorites of Torts. In that case, Jamie Drysdale could be one of those guys because Jamie Drysdale has not looked good. So there's definitely a lot more young players that you can single out, except for Matvei Michkov. Now, are people going to try to swing this into it's not a punishment for Michkov, and maybe it's a lesson to the team where it's like, okay, you guys got to learn how to play without him because it looks like you guys rely too much on him to create things. You guys got to go on the ice, learn how to create without him, and then once we slot him back, you got to find a way to acclimate that with him. Is it one of those things? I highly doubt it. It would be very hilarious if that was the case, but I highly doubt it at the end of the day. Because like I said, there is no reason at all for Matvei Michkov to be benched 2 games in a row. The guy has 10 points in 13 games. Is he playing his best hockey 5-on-5? No, he's not. I'm not saying he's playing a perfect game. I'm not saying that he's looking the best out there. But there are, if for a team that is struggling to score goals, for a team that is struggling to create offense, wouldn't you want your guy that is the best at creating offense on the ice? I just want to think about that. Wouldn't you want the guy that's best at creating offense out there on the ice? Because he's definitely one of the reasons why your power play is even relevant at certain points. He's the only reason on the ice where the power play can score. It just doesn't make sense. It does not make sense to me. It is stupid, it is pathetic, and it's just Torts being Torts and Torts being a douche. And it's getting old. And especially it ticks me off even more when he sends Shawsey out there to talk to the media about Michkov being scratched again because he doesn't want to hear it. He doesn't want to hear the questions from the media because he knows he's going to get bombarded again. But why are you benching him? Is this something to do with, attitude or something like that? Is it something, just like, no. He doesn't want to deal with that shit. And that's what ticks me off even more. You're the one that stresses accountability and all that stuff. Be accountable for your own actions and, talk to the media. Do your job and talk to the media. My God. The king of avoiding the media. Did he even talk in the postgame? That's what I want to know. Did Torts say anything postgame about, Michkov and anything like that? I'm not sure because I haven't seen anything pop up on the Twitterverse right now. So, oh boy, have not. I have not at all. I don't. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. Don't see it at all. No, not seeing anything from Torts on the Twitterverse. I don't see. Oh, he did say something on Flyers Twitter right here. They do have a little video of it. Each day we're just trying to get back to the way we're supposed to be playing. Torts BrodesMedia following the 4-3 shootout loss to the Florida Panthers. So I'm assuming he hasn't said anything relevant about Matvei Michkov. I'm sure someone asked him about Matvei Michkov. He probably just said the same exact crap. So I'm not really surprised. Not really surprised there. So, it's just annoying. It's just very annoying. So, if we look at the Flyers' record right now, after these past 2 games here, they're 5-8-2, and they're still last place in the Metropolitan Division, tied with the Columbus Blue Jackets. And the Flyers are in last place because they played 3 more games than the Columbus Blue Jackets. So it definitely could be way worse. The Flyers are also a -15 in the goal differential department. Woof, 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 woof. And I'm just looking at some of the records around the league as well. The Panthers, they're 11-3-1, while the Maple Leafs are 8-5-2. Carolina's 10-2-0, and the Capitals are 10-4-0. When the fuck did the Capitals get so good? And when the fuck did Ovechkin fucking turn the clock back? My God, he was dreadful to start the year last year. I believe he scored another goal. I believe he has an 8 or 9 on the year so far, getting closer and closer to breaking Gretzky's record. My goodness. The Devils have 20 points. The Rangers have 17. The Winnipeg Jets have only 1 loss on the year. They've won 14 of the first 15 games. They got 28 points on the year. That just doesn't make fucking sense. The Minnesota Wild, they're 10-2-2. Vegas is 9-3-2. LA's 8-4-3. It's a lot of weird things going on around the league right now. And in terms of where the Flyers are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sixth worst team in the National Hockey League. But also right behind them is the Colorado Avalanche. They are the 7th worst team. So if you want to look at some positives there, the Avalanche pick, even though I think that's top 10 predicted in this year's draft, going on the wayside right there for the Avalanche. Who knows? Where's the Edmonton pick at? Edmonton is still below 500 as well, so we'll see where that carries them. Oh my God. Can't believe I'm finding ways to be positive here. But no, I just can't. I just can't. My God. Still, that fucking overtime was on absolute crack in this game against Florida. It was crazy. All the breakaways left and right for the Flyers. You just wish they were able to bury one there. But it's hard for me to take full value of these games because of the whole Michkov stuff. I just can't. It's hard for me to take the full value because your best player should be out there on the ice, and you are robbing him of really beneficial development games, especially against 2 good teams in Tampa and Florida. I feel like he would be able to learn a lot more playing against those 2 teams. Just putting my 2 fucking cents in there. But I'm not Torts, and I don't run with Torts' motto, I guess. My God. And then you get the heavy Torts defenders here, the Torts stands and all that stuff, where John Tortorella can do no wrong. I'm not one of them. Now I'm more supportive of Torts. I think Torts is a good coach in this league, but even he gets to a point where, okay, this is getting ridiculous. Torts, you just got to stop because it's a little too much. Just a little too much. And this is just asinine, benching Michkov for 2 games in a row. So, looking at the upcoming games for the Flyers, because they do have a lot of home games upcoming after this road trip, this 3-game road trip. So they're home on Monday on Veterans Day against the San Jose Sharks. They play their home at 7 o'clock. Then they play on the road on the 14th against the Ottawa Senators and Claude Giroux. So that's a road game there. Then they have 5 straight home games after that. Saturday at 7 o'clock on the 16th against the Buffalo Sabres. 7 o'clock on the 18th against Colorado. 7:30 on the 20th against the Carolina Hurricanes. A 1 o'clock game on the 23rd against the Chicago Blackhawks. The 25th at 7 o'clock against the Vegas Golden Knights. That's like 3 Monday home games in a row for the Flyers. Then they have the 27th on the road against Nashville at 8 o'clock. Then they got Black Friday at home against the New York Rangers. And then they play the final game of the month of November in St. Louis. So that's the rest of the month there for the Fly guys. Michkov is most likely going to be back in the lineup against the San Jose Sharks. There's no way that Torts can bench him 3 straight games, right? Right? We'll see. We'll see. So, we'll see what happens there. But that'll do it for tonight, everybody. I appreciate you all tuning in as always. We'll have our Eagles-Dallas recap tomorrow, so we'll see what happens there if the Eagles can take care of business down there in the trap game against the Dallas Cowboys with Cooper Rush under center for the Cowboys, as Dak Prescott is most likely out for the rest of the season with his hamstring injury and getting surgery on that. So we'll see. So don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It does me a great deal of service. And also use the code TTPSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase at SEATGEEK. Great deal. Do not pass it up. Thank you once again, guys, for joining as always. I'll see you tomorrow for Eagles Cowboys. And until then, I'll see you next time.